Hello, everybody, and welcome to another amazing week of Coast to Coast Lifestyles with Cassie Webb with Elevate Real Estate in Mississippi Gulf Coast, and myself, Heather Kusiba, with Windermere Real Estate in the Seattle East Side. We are very excited. We've been doing this since November or October of last year.
I think October, but it was right around October, November. Yeah, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
Before you know it, it'll be our 1-year anniversary. How crazy
my
is that?
goodness. Yeah. And we figured that because it's been so long, there's some of you who tune in regularly, some of you who don't, and are finding us for the first time. So we figured we'd do like a little reintroduction of who we are and have a little fun today.
Yes, that is super exciting. So, Heather, do you want to start with the first question?
Sure. So first question is, how did we meet and decide to start Coast to Coast Lifestyles?
Yes, so it was very random. Heather and I were asked to be participants on a panel for the CE Shop, which I love the CE Shop. Shout out to the CE Shop. They're wonderful. We have to do continuing education, and they make it entertaining. And so anyway, we had done that, and we had a really great time. We really kind of had good energy, all that good stuff. And so they actually had us back. And that one was just Heather and I, and they kind of interviewed us, and it was great. And then the next couple, we weren't on together, and it wasn't as great. Honestly, mine wasn't anyway. I can speak.
No, mine weren't either. We play together really well, I think.
Yeah.
We complement each other super well.
And so they're like, hey, we could just do this. Like, we don't need, to be invited. Yeah. We can invite ourselves.
I love it.
And then it was really interesting, just even in our offline conversations about all the similarities and differences in our markets and things like that. And so we're like, we think this would be really, help add value to people and our clients, and get to hang out together more. So win-win.
Yeah, I love it. And it's always fun chatting with you every week. So it really was a win-win overall.
Yes, we're excited. We're not going anywhere. Heather, I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite thing about working in real estate?
Oh, man. Choosing one thing that's my favorite is honestly just working with the people. I love working with my clients. I love supporting my clients through one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives. I love working with them through what is otherwise a super, super stressful process and trying to make it as easy and stress-free as humanly possible. So really, like, the people aspect is very much my favorite part of it, and seeing them happy in their new home or happy as they leave their longtime home. At the end of the day, it's just, it's awesome. How about you?
Yeah, so similar, but I guess a little bit. Yeah, I think you kind of alluded to it, but for those who may have not done real estate, it may not be as obvious that we're aware, but a lot of times I'm not sure if the public's aware that most of our clients have some type of life change that's prompting a move. Maybe their family's expanding, they're empty nesters, they're retiring, they're upset, they just got a diploma. I mean, there's a number of things, some that aren't as happy.
Sorry.
And some things that aren't, as happy of occasions, divorces and deaths and things like that. And so I love being able to be that, like you said, in a very stressful situation, even if it's a good thing. A lot of times it's stressful to get married, have babies, all that stuff. And so I like being able to be there to support them and guide them as they transition, not just to their next real estate move, but right along with that, really their kind of next step in life. Or even in my investors, like their next step in building their portfolio and making their dreams a reality. And so for me, it's more, being involved in that process in a valuable and real tangible way. Like, we all need a place to live. So that's my favorite thing.
I love it. That's awesome. What is the biggest real estate myth that you would like to debunk? I know I recently handled this one myself.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, I think that there's a right or wrong time. Like, we should try to predict the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of times that real estate, when we should make that next move, is a very personal decision to us. And I think sometimes we get caught up in what's the economy going to do, what's interest rates going to do, what's the election going to do, all these external things. And people try to time the market. And I think that just making the best decision for you and your family and goals, and the current reality obviously playing a factor, is the number one thing. That it's more about what's right for you than necessary. I'm not saying there's not better times than best or what have you, but honestly, most of the time, the best time is the opposite of what everybody else is doing. So,
Yep.
anything, right? So,
Yep.
What about you?
I mean, that's definitely a conversation I have frequently, and for me, it's the best time is when it's best for you. But otherwise, so I have two potential first-time home buyers that I was talking to over the weekend, and both of them had issues saying, I don't have the 20% down to buy a home, and I'm waiting for interest rates to drop so that my monthly payments can be cheaper. And those are two of my biggest myths that I try to debunk, because there's so many loan programs out there. You don't need 20% down. There are so many not so many, but there are programs out there that you could do as little as 5% down. And there are occasional programs out there that can also do as little as 0% down. So you don't need 20%. There's options. You just got to be talking to the right people to figure out those options and what makes the most sense for you. The other one with the interest rates is, if you're waiting for interest rates to drop, so is every other buyer out there. So all of a sudden interest rates drop, everybody's flooding to the table to buy, and all of a sudden you have a ton of competition and heightened prices. While if you buy when everybody else is uncomfortable, you have less competition, you have more likelihood to get a good deal, and in the end, your monthly payments are going to be roughly the same, except more or less. But except if you buy during the higher interest rates with a lower price, you can refinance later and then get a better deal than you would have the other way around. So it's just there's so many options out there, and just listening to what you assume or what the media tells you is not always the best thing. So yeah, you just always want to listen to the professionals on that rather than just assume, because those are the one that you mentioned, and then these two are like big myths that we constantly hear and we're constantly having the conversation on. So yeah, that's some good ones.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have a fun one now. So
Yes.
If you could have any superpower to help with your real estate work, what would it be?
Oh man, honestly, we talk to people all the time and you alluded to this with the last one. I don't have a crystal ball. Like, we can only predict so much. I would love to have that crystal ball and be like, you are going to be so happy here. You're going to raise your family here. Interest rates are going to be freaking awesome. And you're going to be able to refinance and get such a cheap monthly payment. And then in 5 years, your home is going to have appreciated this much. Like, I would love to have that crystal ball. It would be amazing. How about you?
I agree. Yeah. You definitely would have your clients would be a big advantage if you had a crystal ball, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. A crystal ball sounds nice. But for me, I think, well, yeah, if I could pick a crystal ball, I'd pick a crystal ball. But I'm tempted to say teleporting, because That is my superpower I would like, because I mean, think about if I just was like showing a house and then all of a sudden, bam, at the next house, showing the house, and then listing a house, and then meeting the photographer, and then, doing
Yep.
teleport. Like, can you imagine? And you know what? We don't have teleporters yet. Maybe one day we will. But in the meantime, I'm like, those people who like have private chauffeurs are seeming a lot less crazy. Cause I'm like, if I can work and ride around, like work in between my appointments instead of just driving, that'd be amazing. But in the meantime, I just use it to listen to audiobooks. So
Hey, that works. Oh man, I don't blame you on that one. There are sometimes that we feel like we need to be pulled 20 different directions between like, hey, can you get this pricing analysis? Hey, can you be here for photos? Hey, can you be here for this inspection? Hey, can you be here for this initial walkthrough? Hey, can you be here for this initial client interview? It's like, can only do so many things at once. Oh man. Okay, so what is the most memorable moment you've had during this podcast? And I think we have the same one for this one.
I know you do. And anyone who's watched all of our episodes, God bless you. Mm-hmm. But if you have, you're gonna know. It is episode what? And we weren't even naming them episode numbers at that time. But one of the very first episodes that we did, we truthfully did not know. We knew our markets were very different, our price points were different. We did know that. But we did not know to what degree. And we did these sticky notes, and we're like, had written our answers down separately and then did a reveal on the show. And when we did our average price, it was mind-blowing, and we were stunned, and it was hilarious. And yeah, definitely my most memorable moment.
Oh yeah, I feel like both of us were so stunned we couldn't talk for a second, and then we would just laugh uncontrollably and then be like, wait, so hold on.
I can't even wrap my mind around this.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. I love that episode. It will forever be that number one episode for me, I think.
Yes. So in Heather's market, you can't even buy a house for what my average price point is. And in my market, you're like, it's super high-end luxury. Very few of our houses are in that price point at all for your average price point. So that's a fun one. If we should actually link to it in the comments. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So Heather, what hobbies do you enjoy outside of work?
Oh man, it changes depending on the season, I think, but usually anything that's outside. So like when it's warm and sunny, like it is this week, I am on the lake paddleboarding or kayaking or swimming. And the winter, I'm skiing or something like that. But I also do camping, and I like to go on long walks, and I take my dog out. Basically anything that's outside and or active tends to be my go-to stuff.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, I'm looking for a hobby, but the things that I do like to do are, any hobby recommendations, y'all drop them in the chat, or in the comments. But I like kayaking, but we don't live on a lake and we don't have kayaks, so it's not like a regular hobby. Although we are going next weekend, so that'll be fun. And then I don't know if this is a hobby, but I like just like hanging out with my friends and like either at the pool or grilling out or just sitting on the back porch talking.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite things to do.
Yeah, I love it. There's something to be said about just spending some time with your friends. I know even with my active things, if I'm with people, the better.
Yeah, and traveling, which is, I don't do as much. I'm working on that. So traveling more, but yes.
Working too much, Cassie.
I know. Okay, so Heather, how did you get into real estate?
Oh man. So I was working as a military contractor, as a project manager, basically, and COVID hit. Our program got cut, and I was like, "What am I going to do?" And I thought about going back to school. I thought about getting into sales. I have thought about so many things, but at the end of the day, I was like, "What are my biggest goals in life?" And that was helping people in some capacity or another, and being able to kind of do my own business, run my own business. I've always kind of not butted heads, that's the wrong word, but always altered my personality for the corporate world because I'm too bubbly and casual for most people. And so I wanted to run my own business in a way where I could be myself. And my mother-in-law she's kind of transitioning out of the real estate world now after being in for 30 years. And she was like, "Why don't you come to my office and work out of there? It would be great. We'd love to have you. And I think it would be a career that would work really well for you." And a bunch of my friends and family, when I brought it up with them, it was a resounding, "Oh my God, how have we never thought about this for you before? That is perfect." And yeah, took my licensing exam and been having a great time ever since.
Very cool.
Yeah. And how about you? I don't know if I know the story about you or not. I don't remember.
Well, 20 something years ago. um, no, I remember my parents buying a house, and I was a teenager, and I just thought that the whole thing was pretty fascinating. And then we ended up buying a house that needed to be renovated and we renovated it, and then they sold it a few years later, and I just was like, I think this is really cool. So I was very interested in investing, and flipping houses and things like that. And so then my very first job, I don't know if it's coincidentally, but kind of coincidentally was in property management over 20 years ago. And so then I kind of had entered into the housing world, if you will. And I was like, I'd like to do real estate, but I'd also like to do it. But then I'd also like to kind of have the inside scoop and be my own agent so I could be an investor. And so, and then I did. So I've been doing I've been have my real estate license since 2006. And so I've been doing property management and real estate since I was barely 19. I guess I'm showing my age now, but anyway, I'll be 40 this year. Spoiler.
You're only a couple years older than me. You're fine. We're actually not that much different in age. I don't know if I knew how old we both were, but
yeah. So anyway, and it was very fun. It was everything that I dreamed it'd be. And once you're in the housing industry, you can't get out anyway. So this just like pulls you in, will let you go. So anyway, and we are. So we have rental property ourselves. I run a property management company. I have a brokerage. So it's just all kind of progressed over the last 20 and a half years.
Nice.
But I could really trace it all the way back to going house shopping with my parents as a 16-year-old and then renovating the house and, all of that. So,
yeah.
What, Heather, do you like most about the greater Seattle area specifically? And for those that don't know, you weren't born and raised in the greater Seattle area, right? So
no, I was not born and raised. I visited a couple times as a kid because I have some extended family over here, but that's about it. But I did go to college here, mostly because it was the only corner of the country I hadn't lived in at the time, being a military kid. And then fell in love with it. I left swearing I would never go back because it was the longest I'd ever lived in one spot. And then I was like, I want to go back to Seattle. And the reason is that it has everything. Like, it is the outdoor person's paradise. And you can go skiing in the winter in the mountains. You can go hiking in the mountains in the summer. You can go out on the water during the summer. You can literally anything you can think of that is outdoor based, you can do within a couple hour drive of here, which, spoiler alert, couple hours on West Coast states is nothing. Unlike the East Coast where you're 3 states away after a couple hours. But yeah, it's just, you could do anything, which is great. And there's great food, and there's, I don't know, there's so much to come back here to. The weather isn't extreme in either directions. Like, you do get all 4 seasons, but they're mild, which is also really nice. We don't have several 100-degree days and then several negative something degree days. We have maybe a 90-degree day or two during the summer, and then we're in like the high 20s during the winter, and then everything in between. So it's kind of nice to get those all 4 seasons and it not be extreme.
Yes. Yeah. Sounds amazing.
Yeah. And so, Cassie, back at you, what is your favorite thing about the Mississippi Gulf Coast area, or just Mississippi, your region in general?
Well, we'll talk about the Mississippi. It's Gulf Coast, not Gulf Coast.
I realized that. I'm staring at it as I'm reading. I'm like, oh no! I just copied and pasted, so I think it like auto-corrected.
Yeah. That's funny. Yes. So our area, so we work primarily the 3 coastal counties. We work the 6 southern counties, but the 3 coastal, and it's, I think if people aren't familiar with Mississippi, specifically the Mississippi Gulf Coast, they might be surprised at my answer because it might not be what you're expecting. Is the culture and the diversity. So we have people from every walk of life. We have people from all over the world. We have multiple military bases. We have food. We have amazing food. And we're about an hour and a half from New Orleans. So we definitely have some, cultural type and cuisine that has, crossed over into our area. And then we've got Mobile, and then all of Florida is within, an hour or two. Well, not all of Florida, but Florida. And so we have that, and I think it's very it's a small, it's a small community, but at the same time we have tons of outdoors and festivals and casinos and boardwalks and shopping and malls and I guess it has as many city conveniences as I'm interested in at this time in my life, but yet it's it's still to some degree a smaller community. Actually, we were just on a food the Food Network food truck tour or whatever. Anyway, it was on the Food Network, and Biloxi was just on there. And so but yeah, we have like the Beau Rivage Casino, which is part of MGM Resorts. It has I can't think of it, in Las Vegas. And we have a Hard Rock, and we have Margaritaville, and so we have a ton of different cool things. And it's a very welcoming, accepting place. It's slower paced, but not as slow paced as some other parts of the state. So, and then we have the beach. So our water is not super gorgeous, like some parts of Florida, but our beaches are very beautiful. They're beautiful white sand, and we've got barrier islands, and then we're a quick drive from all of that as well. So
neat.
I like it.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm sorry, what was that?
Nope, go for it. I was going to move to the next question, but you got it.
I was going to ask if you could share a success story that you're particularly proud of.
Oh, man. I think one of my proudest, honestly, is from my earliest days as an agent. I got my very first listing And it went live literally the week that the market started slowing down, at the more towards the tail end of COVID. And there were about 10 other homes in the area, like 8 other homes in the area that also came on around the same time. And even as a baby, brand spanking new agent, I was the only house of those 8 that ended up actually closing, which
Wow.
was so nice and felt so good. And it was just, it was a pretty proud moment for that being my first time, but it also went to show that I have some great mentors and some great people that I rely on for questions and stuff like that, that really helped me through that as well. I think if I didn't have very good mentors, I don't know if I would have been as successful with that listing. So
Yeah.
it was a very proud moment, not just because I was the only one that sold, but also because of my mentors. And I was proud of my mentors and the people that I had in my life guiding me. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Very
How about
cool.
you? I know you have a big one.
Well, yeah, mine's not a specific transaction. I mean, I could go on for days about that because I have so many success stories that I'm proud of. But I'd hate to single out a client on the spot. So for me, I mean, I don't know, this might sound a little, I don't know, like braggy, but it's that I've been able to accomplish the things that I've set out to do. Like, and I had some struggles, personally, relationship wise, um, balancing my mental health, a lot of different things. But as we kind of talked about earlier, I want to be an investor. As an investor, flipped a bunch of houses, and we have rental property. And then, and coming up on 1 year ago, I started my real estate brokerage and property management company, and we just are in the process of opening an office in Biloxi, and so I think that being able to kind of take it from like a kid who like just had some bright ideas and was kind of new to the world, and to be able to kind of see that through over 20 years and be able to fulfill all of that and still be, really hands on with my clients as well, and now my agents too. I'm really proud of. So
Yay. Yay. That's awesome. That's a great thing to be proud of. It doesn't always have to be about transactions. It could just be life success, career success, business. Like it could be anything. So I love that.
yeah, and I mean, this is gonna sound cheesy, but like almost every day is a success story, like with my
Yeah.
clients, because it's just I, well, especially when you have markets like we have right now, I'm like every time I get to a closing table, that's a success story because it's very but anyway, but yeah, I mean, I could go on for days talking about my wonderful clients and that, but um.
Yeah.
So, Heather, if you weren't in real estate, what do you think you'd be doing?
Ooh. Oh man, that's a great question. Honestly, I would probably either be in sales or a teacher, I think. Just the public speaking aspect is something that I've always been passionate about. I used to literally tutor public speaking when I was in high school and in college. And I competed in it in middle school and high school. So that's one aspect that I love. But also, again, I like helping people. So teaching is a great way of helping people. Sales, not as much, but sales would be more for the money in the pocket kind of job, while teaching would be the like fulfilling side, I think. So I would probably be doing one of those two things. How about you? You've been in this a lot longer than me, so I'm really curious what you would say.
Well, I think you kind of alluded to as well. If we're talking about is money a factor?
Mhm.
So, because I'm inclined to say I would love to work for like a nonprofit, you know, like something with a mission that I really believe in. Whether that is housing, not like in the housing industry, but as far as serving underserved communities, um, just I guess I'm talking and I'm like still it revolves around housing. So but some sort of nonprofit, or accounting, like something like bookkeeping, accounting, like something like that. I love numbers. I love
Yeah.
numbers. Numbers don't lie, and I feel like I could totally get a job and like nerd out behind a computer, but I get enough of that in my job now. So it's not like something that I have a burning desire, but like if real estate just disappeared off the earth, I think I like numbers.
Yeah. Hey, that's definitely not something that a lot of people have a passion for. So that's pretty darn cool that you would actually make it a career.
Yeah, and so as far as looking forward, many years from now, so don't worry. But you know, like when you're looking at the numbers, like I would be transition eventually into retirement years, if you will, but still doing the real estate investing. And that's very numbers based. I don't know if you do you work with a lot of investors, or are you more typically on the residential?
I have a few investors, but most of them are definitely like first-time home buyer, residential side of things.
Yeah, so for your investor clients, you know, it's very numbers oriented.
Yep.
That's why people invest in real estate. So I was like, I think I have all the numbers I need, just continuing my real estate investing over time as far as like looking to the future. But
yeah.
So I don't know. That's hard for me to even imagine.
You got a while.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, that's the end of like the longer form questions, I guess, but we have some rapid fire questions, some this or that's that figured would be pretty fun. So the idea is we'll just answer quickly, like I'll ask, you answer, I answer, next question, you answer, I answer. If something does require a little bit more questioning, we totally can. But
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. So first question, coffee or tea?
Coffee. Oh my gosh. I love coffee. Yes.
I used to be addicted to coffee. I quit cold turkey about a year ago, and I've been tea ever since and haven't even touched coffee. So
I can see it. Not surprised by that one. All right.
So tea for me. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl by nature. I like to be an early bird better though. How about you?
Pretty much the same. And I used to be a night owl until I got a puppy that wakes me up at 6 a.m. every day. And now I'm forced to be an early bird.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an interesting one. Do you have a favorite workout or favorite way of working out? This isn't a this or that, so I don't know how it made it in here, but whatever.
Kayaking, if that counts. But not, I kind of like the group class, like kind of dance type, you know, it's fun. And I like that. I don't know. I don't have a favorite. Kayaking, if I can say that. All right. How about you?
Yeah. I would definitely say kayaking or paddleboarding, or to your point with group classes. I used to train in MMA, and that kind of like competitive group environment is fun for me as well.
Very cool. Hey, that was the fun fact that I didn't know, that people don't know about you.
Oh, really? I feel like I tell so many people that I'm like, there's no secrets about me anymore. I don't know. Okay, mountains or beach?
Beach.
Ooh. I'm a hard one because I love being on the water, but I would probably say mountains, maybe. I don't know. Is it for views or is it for like activities? Because if it's activities, I prefer walking along the beach, but if it's for views, I prefer mountains.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm beach hardcore all the way, but then also I'm like, I do enjoy a nice vacation in the mountains. Like that is so peaceful, and a cabin and a hot tub. Like I'm there.
Hey, we got you. You need it. You still need to come up here. We'll get you set up. What about books or movies?
Movies. Hate to admit it.
Yeah.
I can't read nonfiction books, actually. I mean, fiction books, I can't. I can't. I read nonfiction, but when I try to read a fiction book, it just doesn't. When I was a kid, I loved them, but I just can't get into them as an adult for some reason.
Yeah. I'm definitely movie. I can't focus well enough on books. And it usually takes more than like, you know, an hour and a half long movie, a 2 hour long movie. It takes longer than that to get through a book. So I'm more movie for my attention span.
100%.
Do you have a dream vacation destination?
Europe.
Yeah. Ooh, anywhere in particular?
So we are considering a cruise sometime next year, which will be going to Greece, Croatia, France, Italy.
Ooh.
Yeah. And that just hits all my hot points. So
awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, I would do anywhere in Italy. But we were looking at the cruise because I don't know, I feel like you can't like go to Europe for a week unless it's on a cruise. So
yeah, but anyway, usually it takes at least a couple of weeks of traveling.
Yeah.
To see like 1 or 2 countries. Yeah.
Right.
For me, it's been Scandinavia, which I'm actually going to this September. So I'm so excited. We're doing Sweden, Denmark, and Finland, and then like a 24-hour layover in Amsterdam. But I am so excited. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you'll definitely have to take some pictures and tell us all about it.
I definitely will. It'll be a great time. What about your go-to comfort food?
Pizza. I just love pizza.
Pizza's good. I honestly don't know what mine would be. It changes depending on my mood. So I don't know. I do have a major soft spot for mozzarella sticks. So maybe that. I don't know.
Mozzarella sticks are great. And also buffalo chicken macaroni and cheese. Y'all do that?
Oh, no.
Oh, like buffalo, like boneless buffalo wings, but like chopped up and in some macaroni and cheese. Like we have a place called Slim Chickens. And oh my gosh, I wish I could just mail you some buffalo chicken macaroni and cheese because it's life-changing.
That would be amazing. Well, one of these days I need to visit family in New Orleans. So
yes!
There, I'll have to pop on over and see you.
Yes. Sounds good.
Awesome. What about your favorite season?
Summer. Summer, even though it does get 110 degrees here. But I love the vibe of summer, and there's lots of people, you know, local or vacationing or off work with their kids and the beaches and just cruising around. And it's just our energy here is amazing in the summer.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. I would say mine is probably late spring because it's not hot yet and it's not crazy busy yet, but you still got all the flowers and everything's blooming, and it's just gorgeous up here with all the greenery we have in spring because we've had the rain for like 9 months, which is making all the trees and everything super bright, and then you have all the flowers blooming, so it's great.
Yeah.
What is the last song or type of music that you listen to?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, probably this morning I was either listening to some Christian worship music or like some 90s rap.
That is a fascinating mix and I love it.
Yeah, so one of those.
I love it. God, for me, so I've been in a weird kick for the past few months for K-pop, of all things. I don't know why. Because usually, like, my type of music is hard rock and dubstep, like heavy music. But for some reason, K-pop's been my jam. And there is a group I just discovered that unfortunately doesn't even make music anymore called Super M. And they have a song called Can't Stand the Rain that is like an earworm. Like, it's been stuck in my head constantly. So that's probably the last one I listened to. And then last one, we're going back to the this or that. I don't know why the big group of not having it, but the last one is cats or dogs.
I like to give them both a quick little pet, but I do not have an interest in owning either one.
Fair.
How about you? I know you got dogs, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I grew up with cats. I currently have 2 dogs. I love cats, but I am incredibly allergic. So it has to be dogs because I'm slightly less allergic to them.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Is there like a non-allergenic cat? Because that would be cool.
Like, there is. Yeah, there is sort of. So they have hairless cats, but they still have dander. So I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that's what I would probably say. But yeah, so that is our Q&A session.
Yeah.
Which was fun because I think we both learned things about each other today that we didn't know prior, which is exciting. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we will dive a little more into summer in Seattle and Mississippi next week, which I'm super excited. We're right in the middle of it. We do have kids starting school this week, actually, in some of our cities. So it's actually kind of starts winding down here a little bit, but we've got some exciting things coming up. And I can't wait to hear about what's going on in summer in Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. We have a lot of activities that happen here in the summer. Since we have 9 months of rain, we have about 2 to 3 months of actually being able to do things. So it's usually really, really busy around here. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. Same time, same place.